Well, hey there, neighbor. Welcome back to another episode of the Need a Lift podcast with me, your happy host, Clyde. Always. Can you say that? Can you say Clyde always? That's good. Yeah, that's good. And today we're going to be taking a little trip to the... Anyway, I'm just fucking with you. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Need a Lift podcast. With me, your happy host, Clyde always. Clyde always at your service. Whoa, at your service. Pleasure to be here with you today. And I've got, today is a no ordinary episode of the Need a Lift podcast. Today is the Thanksgiving episode. Why is that? Because tomorrow is Thanksgiving 2020. And that, coincidentally, will be the theme for today's podcast. Thanksgiving. I would like to give thanks, and I think you all should give thanks too. So if you're tuning in, if this is your first time at the Need a Lift podcast, just a brief mission statement. What am I doing here at the Need a Lift podcast? I'll tell you what I'm trying to give you. You artist, you dreamer, you creator, you. I'm trying to give you a lift. I'm not trying to knock you down. Would never do that. Pardon me, I should have gotten some water before I started this. I sound like George C. Scott. Anyway, trying to give you a lift. Trying to give you a little encouragement. Trying to give you a little kick in the pants, you. Trying to lift you up by your shirt collars and say, hey, you're good enough. Get back to it, whatever it is. That thing you do. Now, this is not limited to visual artists. So often we hear the word art and we think, oh, yeah, a guy with a beret is painting on a thing. That's art, right? No. Could be anything. Dick Fosbury invented the Fosbury flop. He was an athlete, but a creative. That's for damn sure. An innovator. Could be anything. Maybe you write haiku. All right? I like that. That's great. Be the best goddamn haiku writer you can be. And today is your day, so be thankful that the sun came up today, because if you live in San Francisco, you'll remember that day in September when the sun did not come up. We were a little frightened by that. Wouldn't you be? Dear Lord, it was not fun. Anyway, today's pep talk, yes, every episode of the Need a Lift podcast begins with a pep talk. Now, before I begin this pep talk, I gotta tell you, I'm sorry, but there are construction noises going on outside of my apartment. There's nothing I can do about it, all right? But I'm thankful that those men outside have jobs whereby they can put food on the table for their hungry children. But it is a little irksome that you'll be hearing a little all right? It's going to be going on. Nothing I can do about it. On that note, though, allow me just one brief aside. Some big news in Clyde Always land. Clyde Always, I know, brace yourselves for it. The Bard of the Lower Haight is moving out of the Lower Haight. Oh, that's okay. I'm just moving one neighborhood over. I'm moving to the Western Addition, which you could say is part of the Lower Haight if you wanted to. I don't care in either case. I ain't going anywhere, baby. I'm still right here in the city by the bay, the Paris of the West, a hub for artists, creators, free thinkers, and dreamers. The century's over. Or something like that, anyway. Something to that effect. Anyway, I'm moving, and my new apartment is facing the rear of the building, so no more white noise out there. Now, I will miss looking out my bay window at all of the fine folks, but you know what? Times they are a-changin', it's time to grow up. Me and my little Tootsie Pop, my sweet darling, my little lady, the wee wenchie, we're deciding to cohabitate. That's right, cohabitation. Can you believe it? Me neither. Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be great. It'll be wonderful because we're starting off on that journey. We're getting the ball rolling. That's right. Little Clyde Juniors will be running around any day now, I'm sure. That is, of course, the end goal. Anyway, hey, everybody. I'm Clyde always. And if you're tuning in, I hope you need a lift. And today's pep talk is all about the second the second principle of success, which is, of course, reverence. If you know me, I'm always preaching these 5 very simple and basic laws, these principles of success, those being humility, reverence, inspiration, deep purpose, and joy, in that order. So if you want to bring something great into the world, start by humbling yourself. Next, be reverent to the creators who have come before you. Next, listen for the inspiration. That is so important. Turn this shit off and listen. Have some silence. Go on a walk. Lock yourself in your room. Inspiration will come to you in little sparks. Number 4, have a deep purpose. That, again, is so important. Why are you doing it? Don't you want to give something great to the world? I know you do. Because you're like me. You're an artist. You're a visionary. And number 5, and this is the clincher, joy. Be happy about it. Now, that's the other thing about happiness. Happiness is not doled out to you by the happy brigade. They're not going door to door saying, oh, did you get your daily dose of happy yet? And if they do, don't trust them. Nobody can give you happiness. You can go and harvest happiness yourself. Happiness grows on the trees, but you got to climb up there and pick it for yourself, okay? And that is, yeah, I am being metaphorical here. What I'm saying is, you are the maker of your own happiness, and there is unlimited happiness. There's happiness out there for everybody, but you gotta earn it. You gotta earn it, you. So go earn it. All right, today's a great day for it. But today's pep talk, seeing as how it is Thanksgiving, is all about giving thanks. It's all about thanksgiving, all right? And it's about giving thanks to those creators, those visionaries, those dreamers who have come before us. And it's so easy. It's so easy for us in the modern world to go and walk by things that we just take for granted. Of course, there's that thing. Oh, well, of course, what else would we do? Oh, of course that thing is there. For instance, the power lines. We walk by these power lines all day long. And they look right stupid ugly to us, so we don't even notice them. Our brains just blank them out. But there were minds at work. There were dudes, maybe chicks, I don't know, but I would imagine dudes, sitting in rooms with all kinds of wires and bulbs, zapping themselves, all right, on a drawing board, saying, nope, that's not going to work, that's not going to work, shit, oh my God, I'm so frustrated, nope, that failed, a year later, oh, I failed again, God damn it, I'm never going to get it, and then eventually they said, Eureka! Of course! You just got to put a, oh, we did it, oh, and then they said, hey, world, have these transformers, these transistors, these power lines. Oh, yeah. Hey, all of you guys out there that like to climb up shit, you can have a job. We'll pay you good money to climb up this fucking big stick on the sidewalk and zap yourself. Yep, attach that to that. And now look at us. You're watching this thing. There's electrons zipping around. I don't even know how it works. That's exactly it. I'm saying I am so eternally grateful. I am so thankful for all of those minds that brought these things into the world. It weren't easy. They didn't just fall out of the sky. Nobody waved a magic wand and poof, it appeared. This was the work. And I can only imagine the level of joy that some of these people felt. That's another thing, too. I mean, I live, no brag, just facts, I live in one of the most beautiful cities in the world. I live in San Francisco. And in my neighborhood, there are all kinds of Victorian buildings. I do not even understand how an architect could be so flamboyant, man. All of these Victorian architects were like, oh, well, we have to have a 20-foot facade on the top so that people will think the building is taller than it actually is. No, it can't just be a plain facade. We've got to have all kinds of swooping arcs and columns. Well, we'll have colorful fixtures, and we'll have little Roman accents. Why not? Of course, we have to have these things. If you go and look, even the stoops, there are mosaics on the stoops, and somebody put every single little tile and laid the grout, and they sanded it down, and they put a thin layer of veneer on the son of a bitch. That's what I'm talking about. These are the good works of men and women just like us that wanted to leave behind something. When they were dead, they said, you know what, I'm going to be dead. And somebody's going to walk over this mosaic, and they're not even going to stop for 1 second and say, wow, Thanks a million for taking the time to lay those tiles and sand that grout. That couldn't have been easy. I'll bet you a dime you pinched your finger a few times. I'll bet you a dime you had big calluses on your hands. All of you guys that laid those bricks, I'll bet you a dime that architect, when he pitched that building idea to the landowner, he probably really had to sell it. He said, no, I know, we're going to put this building here and it's going to look great. And the guy said, I don't know about you, but I'm just saying, that is the best thing that we can do as artists, is to stop overlooking these wonderful things, these beautiful these things that great minds brought into the world. So be reverent, give thanks. Give thanks to all there is that people like us have brought into the world. On that note, who else do we got? Oh, yes. Be thankful for each and every one of your fans and admirers. If you've got 6 subscribers on YouTube, be thankful it's not 5. Right? Reach out to them. When you create something, think about them. Those people that are going to be digging those things, have them in mind. Because if you're just doing it for you, well, then you're just... Alright? Don't just do it for you. Do it for them. And be thankful anybody digs your stuff. I know I am. I'm thankful for each and every one of you, listeners, viewers. Yeah, we're not just a listening podcast anymore. This is a vid podcast. I'm thankful for that. That is crazy pops. Speaking of which, I'm thankful for this hat. A haberdasher, a fine haberdasher made this hat out of a lady's pillbox hat. Can you believe that? Isn't that nuts? This hat didn't just come out of the ether. This hat was brought into the world through careful measurement, manipulation. Every single one of these buttons, some button maker had to design. Every single one of these buttons, I mean, even 100 years ago, you couldn't have had a button that was mass-produced. Well, maybe you could have. 250 years ago, you couldn't have had a button that was mass-produced like this. Some button maker would have had to work all day just to make one goddamn button. Hot damn, and we need buttons. You didn't even know you needed buttons, but you do. You gotta have buttons. Same thing with bumper stickers. We didn't know we needed bumper stickers until some bumper sticker maker said, hey, I got an idea. I'm gonna make a sticker that you put on your bumper. There didn't even used to be bumpers. Somebody said, hey, what if we had a little barrier between your horseless wagon and the other person's horseless wagon? And then when you crash together, well then, they just kind of bump. I got it. We'll call them bumpers. Can you imagine the geniuses at work? I know I sound like I'm being sarcastic, but I'm legitimately working out my gratitude for the modern world with you. You artist, you creator, you dreamer, you free thinker, you. You ain't content. You ain't content to do with the status quo. You gotta bring something new, some real, some wonderful, some amazing, something awe-inspiring. I'm sorry, I really sound bad. I sound scratchy. That's what happens when you squawk all day long. I ain't no common carnival barker. I am the bard of the lower hay. Anyway, back to bumper stickers. Now, not only did somebody have to invent a car, all right? Before somebody invented a car, they had to invent a wagon. They had to invent a wheel, all right? I mean, these are things that didn't used to exist, all right? So all of that brought us to this bumper sticker. And now some cat, too, not only did he have to invent the sticky stuff and the printing machine that makes the bumper sticker, but some cat, some genius wordsmith, or some graphic designer. I mean, I think in San Francisco, the most common bumper sticker you'll ever see, it says, Coexist. Isn't that a great one? No, I mean, I'm dead serious. I know I sound sarcastic, but that is a good bumper sticker. Let's coexist. Let's stop cutting people's heads off. That would be great. Just coexist. You don't have to cut their heads off. You can just coexist with them. Yeah? Anyway, some brilliant graphic designer. Now, I don't know his name, but I know I saw a YouTube video all about this dude who came up with this Coexist design. I'm just saying, it's a very common bumper sticker that we see here in San Francisco, and it's a brilliant, beautiful bumper sticker. And it always reminds me, it's so nice that we can live in a world, and wait for it, because this is the word, this is the big buzzword thrown around, pure diversity, right? It would be so boring if we were all equal. Think about that. What does equality mean? It means I am the same as you. If the whole world was nothing but Clyde always is. Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I would hate that. That would suck. You would hate that. The whole reason Clyde always is worth watching is because I'm the only one. The whole reason I love you so much, whoever you are. No, I'm sure that I know you. I probably, anyway. And if I don't, I want to know you. No, the whole reason that I dig you is because you are you. If you were somebody else, I wouldn't like you as much. I'd be like, yeah, you're okay, I guess, but you ain't you. You are all right, man. You who do those things, I don't know what you do, man. Maybe you devised a new method of throwing a ping pong ball into a red cup for the amusement of your fellow partygoers. I don't know. Oh, by the way, don't party. That hath been decreed illegal by His Royal Highness Gavin Newsom. That's right. Whilst he was dining on caviar, darling. Dining on caviar at the French laundry, didst he decree that it would be illegal, highly unsafe for the peasants to gather for Thanksgiving with their families this year. Yes, it shall be forbidden. Anyway, fuck you, Gavin Newsom. Fuck you hard. We're still gathering for Thanksgiving. Anyway, some of us are. Maybe you're not. I don't know. You do you, buddy. Anyway. Oh shit. My pep talk turned into a rant. Anyway, that concludes today's pep talk. Give thanks to all of those wonderful creators, those visionaries that came before us. And I am thankful for each and every one of you. And I am super thankful for your creations that you brought into the world. I know that sounds canned, but I really am. I really am. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of bravery to do what you do, to bring something new into the world. So go and keep doing it. Today's a great day for it, too. Go get one done. Anyway, hey, everybody. I'm Clyde always. And usually today, this would be the point in the podcast where I do a recitation of a fine verse, all right? But today is no ordinary day. So I would like to read to you a chapter from Samantha Muffinbaker and the Funny Land of Flinck. And what is Samantha Muffinbaker and the Funny Land of Flinck? I'll tell you what, it is a middle grade novel. That means it's a novel written for 10 to 12-year-olds. And this one just so happens to have been written and illustrated by me, yours truly, Clyde, always. And I'm very proud of it. And I know that you, if you just give it a chance, if you just buy a copy on Amazon and give it a read, you will be entertained. You will be uplifted. You might just be thankful that I listened to the universe and took on the responsibility of bringing this thing into the world. Okay, with no more further ado, here it comes. Chapter 18 from Samantha Muffinbaker and the Funny Land of Flinck. And I would like to dedicate this reading to my dearest darling, my little tiny, my sweetie pie, my tootsie pop, my wee wenchie. Chapter 18. Wailing their heads off, the children plummeted like skydivers through a mysterious, sparkling tunnel. They soon realized, however, that falling without ever hitting the ground isn't so much like falling at all, but more like floating. Well, they stopped screaming, flashed each other a silent smirk, and then, as if they had both been told a very funny joke, they started shrieking with laughter. "Whee!" Samantha exclaimed. "This is fun!" "Yeah," Daniel agreed. I can't believe it. I'm not scared." "Look at all these colors," Samantha giggled, grasping at slippery rainbows which swirled around their faces. The colors weren't just the normal colors, like purple and green and yellow and blue and red. Why, these were yerple and bleen and rue and ped and grello, plus 1.5 billion other colors that you couldn't even find a name for if you tried. "Why, it smells so good in here, too," Daniel exclaimed, drawing a deep breath through his nose. "It smells like cinnamon babka." "I smell cotton candy," Samantha called out after a huge whiff. "And cookies and birthday cake, too." "Samantha, do you feel kind of funny?" Daniel asked her, taking her by both hands. "Yeah, I do," she told him as her eyes began to twinkle. "Samantha," he whispered, not daring to blink, There's something I've got to tell you. Tell me, Samantha pleaded, leaning closer to her best friend. I swear I won't blab it to anybody. Daniel stuttered, chins trembling. Then courageously, he loudly proclaimed, I like you! I like you back, she squealed, smiling widely, not even thinking about the gap in her teeth. You do? Daniel asked her, puffing up his chest. Really? Yes, really, Samantha insisted. I know I'm always teasing you and making fun of you and being mean to you, but I only did that stuff because I like you, and I think you're so smart and so sweet. And oh, Daniel, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, she cried, throwing her arms around her. It's okay, he told her, hugging her tightly. Will you forgive me for being such a crybaby all the time? I'm sorry I always think too much and ruin things by being such a wimp. They were too caught up in this exchange to notice that the rainbows around them were growing brighter and more beautiful. The smells were also becoming stronger, more delicious. Then happy music began to rise in their ears, crashing drums and playful fiddles. Their funny feeling was exploding in them now like fireworks on the 4th of July. Then, without thought or preparation, Daniel leaned forward and he planted a kiss right on Samantha's lips. And then, with another startling bang, the colors vanished around them and the smells turned suddenly sour, and the children plunged, head first, into a gigantic pile of garbage. And if you'd like to continue the story for yourself, or at least get the first part of the story that you missed, then please buy a copy of Samantha Muffinbaker and the Funny Land of Flinck, which is available on Amazon. And if you're looking for the link to the Funny Land of Flinck, oh, you see what I did there, then go to my website, ClydeAlways.com. All right. Hey, everybody. We have reached that pinnacle point in the episode where we're going to today's Artist Spotlight. That's right. Every episode of the Needle Lift podcast features an artist spotlight. Now, is this a full-blown autobiography? Yeah, that would be bad if it was a full-blown autobiography. That would be a boring artist spotlight every week, wouldn't it? No, we only need one Clyde Always spotlight. No, but there won't be no Clyde Always spotlight because I'm the star of the show. That would be self-serving, and I don't want to do that, man. This is about you. Yes, today's artist spotlight is Vincent Van Gogh. And like I said, it's not going to be a full-blown biography, all right? I'm not a biographer, okay? I'm an artist. I'm an uplifter, okay? I'm a motivational speaker. All right, so what's the purpose of having an artist spotlight? I'll tell you what. It's merely to pay my respects, to have an homage, all right? To tip my hat to some great creator of the past who hath come before us and who hath left behind a wide breadth of works for us to admire. And today's artist, as I've already stated, and I'll state again, is Vincent Van Gogh, a Dutch painter, who coincidentally made most of his paintings in France, the south of France, to be precise. Was it Nice? Was it Arles? I can't remember, but that's inconsequential. Point is that he did most of his paintings in a rather short amount of time. He got it in his head one day. The universe whispered in his ear, "You shall be a painter, Vincent Van Gogh." And he said, "Okay." So his brother, who was an art dealer in Paris, set him up with some limited funds to go and paint his paintings. And he was so inspired by the beauty that he saw in the south of France. I mean, still lifes, self-portraits, did a lot of self-portraits because he couldn't afford any models, didn't have much money. In fact, he was so broke because his brother couldn't sell any of his paintings. He tried, but he couldn't. Nobody wanted them. They said, yeah, this is your brother, you say? Those are, really nice. Yeah. But I think we'll just take one of these Monets. Dude, Monet, Gauguin, Manet. Oh, yeah, they got lots of attention. They got lots of love. But old Vince Van Gogh, he was an outlier in the whole Impressionist movement. But that's the point. That is the point, is that Vincent Van Gogh had a style. He had an artistic vision which he refused to compromise. Such life, such the glory of the mundane, all right? That's what I'm saying. You can look at a tree, and it's obvious. You see the light playing over the tree. You can see it. You can see these lines, all right? You can see this clear motion. It's like the way the ocean crashes against the shore, you know? It's the life, the liveliness that is in these inanimate objects. Even wilting sunflowers, did he put such glory behind? And it's all through lines, too. That's the other thing. I feel like so many of us painters nowadays, I mean, this is one of mine behind me, but so many of us painters, it's almost like we're afraid to put lines because we feel like there are no lines in nature. Now, granted, there's nothing necessarily outlined in nature, but there's plenty of lines. Line is so important. I got a quote, oh, fuck, now I can't remember his name. Ben Stahl, sorry. I gotta quote Ben Stahl. Or paraphrase Ben Stahl, I should say. He said that if a painting was an orchestra, tone would be the tubas and the drums, but line would be the flutes and the strings. There's gotta be a harmony there. Now that is what Van Gogh was to me. It was all about these flowing lines. It was lines on lines on lines. It was beautiful. Now, one painting in particular, too, and I don't know how well known it is, so you might not know about it, but I'd highly recommend you just Google image it real quick. It's Van Gogh's skeleton with a cigarette. Wow. Dark stuff. Dark stuff. Interesting stuff. Highly interesting composition. Anyway, hats off to Vincent Van Gogh. Unfortunately, he never got much love in his lifetime, but nowadays, he is getting nothing but love. All right? Now, you can go and see his museum, too, in Amsterdam. Go check it out. It's fascinating shit, man. Fascinating. And I won't get into, there's all kinds of talk about why he went nuts. I think he was just nuts in a very good way. There's nothing wrong with being nuts. But yeah, I mean, there's speculation that he would eat big chunks of paint. He said, oh, I'll just have... And there's lead in paint. That's the kind of thing that'll scramble your brain. And then he, removed one of those. Why? We don't know. I'm just saying, these are pointless details. All that matters is that he listened for the inspiration, and he was thankful. He was reverent to those painters who came before him. And he brought into the world works of art that hath never been rivaled, all right? And if you're going to one of those painting classes to learn how to copy Starry Night, I say, please don't do that. Please teach yourself. Don't trust these instructors. They're full of shit. Pardon me if you're one of these instructors listening to this. I know your jaw just hit the floor. You said, fuck this guy. I know. It's true, though. You are your own best teacher. Try and fail, and then try not to fail again. That's all there is to it. That's how you learn. Anyway, thus concludes today's Artist Spotlight. Hats off to Vincent Van Gogh. Thank you very much. Okay, now I always end the Needle Lift podcast with an anecdote. And today's anecdote is not particularly out of the ordinary. It's something rather mundane, but I just want to point out the beauty in this mundane happening that went on yesterday. When I was coming home from the bank on my unicycle, I had to cross the street and I was remounting when a friend of mine rode by on his bike and he said, oh, Clyde, oh, it's Clyde. And I said, oh my God, it's my friend. Now, I'm not going to name it by name, but this dude is somebody who, if you're listening to this and you're on the scene with me, on the open mic scene, you'll know him, all right? He's a dude whose performance tactic is to speak off the cuff and to speak with no filter, all right? And it's really hard for him sometimes to penetrate that filter. Sometimes his whole set is him just standing in silence. At one point, he was standing there in silence, and you could have heard a pin drop in that cafe. We were like, what's he going to say? And then finally, he said, I wish I had a breast in my mouth. And it was like the funniest joke anybody had ever told, ever. And it wasn't even a joke. He was being dead serious. He wished he had a breast in his mouth. Anyway, this man, I mean, in addition to being this person who I ran into yesterday, who I won't name by name, we'll just call him Rob for, the sake of talking here. I ran into Rob yesterday. And Rob, in addition to being a fucking fabulous performer, an innovative performer, a performer like I've never seen before, a one-of-a-kind performer. In addition to being a wonderful performer, he is a sculptor and a woodworker. He builds shit with his hands. He builds shit with his mind. All right? He brings incredible three-dimensional works of art into the world, both abstract and representational. A surrealist. He's great. Anyway, he's somebody who I really admire. And he and I had a passionate and animated discussion about the happenings in the world today. And this is what's truly beautiful, is that he and I disagree on fundamental issues. And yet, there are no hard feelings. There was nothing combative about our discussion. We are two friends who respect each other, two artists who respect each other's works, each other's good works in the world. And we're able to recognize the fact that we can coexist even though we do not think the same. And it was a beautiful moment. And I have nothing but love and respect for this man, and I am thankful that I have had the opportunity to call this man my friend. And I want to say I'm thankful for all of my friends, and I'm thankful that we are free in this world to choose who among us will be our friends. Friendship is one of the greatest pleasures in life. Besides romantic love, there is the love that you have for your friends, and I've got so many good friends. And I've got them because I actively went out and I seeked them out. I was trying to think of what the past tense of seek was. Sook? I sooked them out? No, I seeked them out. I sought them out. That's it. My whole brain. I need some more coffee. I sought you out, my friends. And I deemed you worthy of my friendship. And I'm so thankful to know that you're out there doing your good works. So today's your goddamn day, okay? Today is it. Be glorious. Be bold. Be brave. Do that thing that only you can do. Bring it into the world. And don't apologize for it. Hold it up above your head and say, I hath rendered this thing. Sorry, I hath brought it out of nothing. You can do it. And I'll just leave you with a little Thanksgiving blessing. That's right. If you are going to defy the mayor's stay-at-home order tomorrow and go and see your family for Thanksgiving, it is, traditional in most American households to go around the table and say, what you're thankful for? Well, I'm thankful that blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, but I've got a good one for you, and you can use it. This is the one that I use. Sorry, we've got sirens going around. It goes, well, I'm thankful the stuffing was stuffed in the bird, and I'm thankful for cranberry goo, and I'm thankful for pie, and I'll give you my word that I'm thankful to be here with you. All right, that's a wrap. Hey, everybody, tune in next week for another episode of Need a Lift. We'll see you later.